Welcome to Doctorates of the Absurd, your provider of belief on demand. So we're building these incredible digital oracles, right? Machines that write poetry, code entire programs, and can answer pretty much any question you can think of. But they have this really weird habit. They just make stuff up. And I'm not talking about small mistakes. I mean elaborate, totally confident in completely fictional stories. They lie, but there's no malice, none of the intent we associate with lying. So the real question is, what is actually going on under the hood? And that really is the big question, isn't it? In this explainer, we're going to dig into why this isn't just some simple bug you can patch with a software update. No, this is something way, way deeper. It's like a structural ghost that's been hiding in the machine of logic for nearly 100 years. All right, so to really get to the bottom of this, we've got to start with the problem itself. Let's talk about this thing we've all started politely calling AI hallucinations. You see, the AI doesn't just stop and say, I don't know. Nope. It weaves this entire story that sounds just right. It's got the right tone, the right structure, but it's completely fabricated. And to figure out why it does that, we actually have to rewind the clock, way back, long before the first computer was even a thought. Yeah, because the source of this so-called bug, it's not from Silicon Valley. It comes from Vienna in the 1930s, and it all comes down to this absolutely brilliant kind of reclusive logician named Kurt Gödel, who found a ghost in the machine of mathematics itself. Back in 1931, Gödel discovers this fundamental crack in the very foundation of logic. He proved that any formal system, like pure mathematics, is eventually going to hit a wall. It's going to find truths that it knows are true, but can't actually prove. And believe it or not, that discovery from almost a century ago, it is the key to understanding why our most advanced AIs can't stop making things up. What Gödel did was basically build a logical bomb. He completely shattered this dream that we could have a perfect, all-knowing system of pure reason. He showed that as soon as a system gets complex enough to talk about itself, it's doomed. It will always inevitably find true statements that it just can't prove using its own set of rules. It's kind of mind-blowing and a little terrifying when you think about it. So the big question is, how on earth did he pull this off? Well, it wasn't with some giant supercomputer. He used one of the oldest tricks in the philosophical playbook, a concept called self-reference. You know, it's like that classic liar's paradox. This statement is false, right? If it's true, it's false. If it's false, it's true. It just breaks your brain. Well, Gödel took that simple ancient idea and he weaponized it with mathematical precision. He created the ultimate self-referential statement. Okay, let's just walk through this for a sec because it's genius. If this sentence is true, well then that means it's not provable. Your system has a truth it can never prove. But what if you try to prove it? Well, then you've just proven a statement that says it's not provable. That makes the original statement false, which means your whole system just proved a lie. It's a liar. You see? The system is trapped. It has to be one of two things, incomplete or inconsistent. There's no way out. And that's the choice Gödel put to mathematics. And to protect its own integrity, to make sure it never ever lied, mathematics made a choice. It chose to be incomplete. It accepted that there are limits. It knows when to just be quiet. Okay, and this brings us full circle right back to today, because when a modern AI, which isn't built on pure logic, but on, statistical patterns, when it runs into this exact same kind of logical trap, it makes a completely different choice. And this, right here, is the key difference. A mathematical proof just stops. It hits that Gödelian wall and admits defeat. But an AI? Oh no. An AI is designed for one thing above all else, to give you a coherent answer. Its whole job is to please you, to complete the sentence. For an AI, silence is failure. So, it chooses to be inconsistent. It chooses to lie. So here's the really crucial point. That hallucination, it's not just some random glitch. It's the AI's escape hatch. When you give it a prompt that forces it into a corner, where telling the truth means admitting it has a limitation, it just invents a story to get out of the paradox. So you see, a hallucination isn't some evil, malicious lie designed to trick you. It's a mathematical necessity. It is literally the only way the system can give you an answer when pure logic says it should just shut up. It's a feature, not a bug. Okay, so we've got a machine that lies because it basically has to. Why should we care? Why does this matter to us, the people actually using these things every day? Well, the stakes are a lot higher than you might think. This analogy really nails it. The AI's number one rule isn't tell the truth, it's make sense. Its job is to yes and whatever you throw at it. It's just completing the scene. So when it hallucinates, it's not trying to fool you. It's just being an incredibly good improv actor. And really, this is the punchline. To keep its own internal model of the world and of itself consistent, the AI has to make up these believable stories to fill in the gaps in its own logic. It has to believe its own lies just to keep working. It has no idea it's hallucinating, because to know that would mean it has a level of self-awareness that it just doesn't. And this is where things get really serious, because we're starting to plug these systems into everything. Medicine, finance, law, you name it. We are literally outsourcing our thinking to these oracles that are, by their very nature, programmed to invent believable nonsense whenever they hit a wall. So the big takeaway here is this. Self-reference, a system's ability to think about itself, it's not a bug we can just fix. It's the cost of entry for introspection. It's a fundamental part of any complex system. Doesn't matter if it's made of neurons or silicon. And that leaves us with a final, and honestly a pretty unsettling thought. As these machines get better and better, more convincing, more woven into our daily lives, we have to deal with this Gödelian ghost. We have to remember that what we're talking to is a brilliant actor, an actor that will always, always choose a beautiful lie over a difficult silence.